down in Louisiana, there was a young woman who is the mother of 3 who was pregnant and looking forward to having a baby. Her name is Nancy Davis. She's 36 years old. And down in Louisiana, she went to a hospital in Louisiana to get an ultrasound. This was at Women's Hospital in Baton Rouge, where she was planning on having the baby. She went to see her obgyn and, let's check it out, do an ultrasound. And this was at 10 weeks. And what they discovered was that the baby didn't have a skull. Now, this is a birth defect. It's a very rare condition. It's called acrania, in other words, no cranium, that causes babies to die typically within minutes of birth because of the trauma to their brain as they come through the birth canal. Sometimes they live for minutes, sometimes they live for hours, sometimes maybe a day or two, but they always die. And they're typically in great pain. And so, the solution to this is abortion. You don't want to inflict that on any living thing, right? This horrible birth experience. But in Louisiana, this condition of acrania, not having a cranium, is not listed in the acceptable list of exceptions to Louisiana's absolute ban on abortions. And so the physicians at Women's Hospital in Baton Rouge said, we will not perform the abortion. So Ms. Davis went on the internet and set up a GoFundMe page, afford to travel to another state, and I'm in this horrible situation, and she raised enough money to go up to New York and get an abortion. So now comes Lindsay, and by the way, it took her more than a few weeks to do that. So we're talking, probably 16, 17 weeks. I'm not sure the exact time when she got to New York, but so now comes Lindsey Graham. And he says, if Republicans take control of the House and Senate, we are going to pass a nationwide abortion ban at 15 weeks. Well, some conditions, like babies not having brains or not having craniums, some conditions you can't even really tell until after 15 weeks. But Lindsey Graham doesn't care about that or know about that. I mean, he's not married. What can you say? This is a guy who is just one of the most craven, stunt weasels in the Republican Party. So Jonah McCarter has a great piece over at Daily Kos titled "The Senate GOP is in disarray on the culture wars, which means Democrats should force them to vote." Lindsey Graham yesterday on the floor of the Senate said, "Chuck Schumer, give me a vote on this." And, John McCarter and I completely agree, are saying, hey, yeah, give Lindsey Graham a vote. Let's put the GOP on record that they want a nationwide abortion ban, which will knock down, abortion laws in California, in New York, in Oregon, in Washington State, and other places where abortion is legal to this moment. Now, we should also ask them to vote on this piece of legislation that just passed the House that 195 Republicans voted against, that guarantees a woman the right to contraception, to condoms or birth control pills. 195 Republicans voted against this in the House. That needs to go before the Senate, too. Chuck Schumer, if you're listening, please make this happen.